Well, I would say this. Um, and again, whatever I say about Alita is going to blast out there, but I think I have Robert and James' blessing on this. We all want it to happen. We all want it to happen.
All right, let's do it. Good evening. My name is Niger Chambers. I'm from Big Old Belt Media. Jeff, thank you so much for the time today. Very excited to talk about this one. Lady Scorpions coming to theaters in a double feature alongside of Kung Fu Games August 23rd. And then folks can check it out digitally September 3rd. My brother, how you feeling today?
Excellent, Nigeria. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, I've been a fan of yours for so long, and there's one thing very consistent. No matter the characters you play, they damn sure always give you a badass entrance. I gotta ask you, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
written in your contract, or do they just
Well,
know how to treat you?
oh, well, it's certainly not in the contract. I think it's just in the stars, and I'm lucky that the cats always and I agree with you. They always seem to have this cool entrance for me, which is half the work is already done.
Yes, and then and of course, yeah, we have to talk about your character, John Baker, here now. I've
Yeah.
seen the film, and there's so much I could say. I could talk about his powers, his influence. He is the man, without a
Oh,
doubt.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
you had to put in some words to kind of get the fans prepared for again this entrance he makes and the and again the power that he controls, the movements that he has on the board and in the game of chess. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about this character.
Well, without giving anything away, I think I'm safe in saying that he has done obviously whatever it took or takes to gain that power through the through some dark ways, if you will. But what I find interesting in the dramatic uh, curve, if you will, that we come into, and again, without giving anything away, he's at a transitional point in his life. So there's almost a deep psychological revelation, if you will, that has is happening to my character at the beginning of the film, as we see. But having said that, even though he's had a revelation, he has not deserted his dark ways. Yeah.
When you think about the character John, I mean, legacy clearly comes into play here, and you tend to see these type of characters in real people in real life. When it turns down to being the person, being at the top of the chain, and at some point you kind of have to relinquish that role. And who better else would you want to do it than typically sometimes your seats here? But
Yeah.
that's always a power struggle because are they prepared? Are you truly ready to relinquish that? And that arc alone is worth the watch. But there's so much action in this film. Up and down the board, we have legendary folks, including yourself, Cynthia coming in, Caitlin coming in, even Bruce, who's a director, writer, and star of this film. Listen, you've been booked and busy in the year of 2024 with Switch Up and with Horizon, the first chapter. Can you talk about what was special about this cast, this ensemble, and as a two-part to that, Tiger Style's been doing something very special with their releases in general, like something I haven't done as a big martial arts fan and just a fan of cinema in general. They're giving us a lot in such a little
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Talk about the whole experience.
Well, I'll tell you, this all goes back to Shannon McIntosh and I were first working together 18 years ago when Quentin and Robert Rodriguez did Grindhouse. And so that's where Shannon and I first met, because she was producing with Elizabeth Evian, and they were working with Quentin and Robert Rodriguez, respectively. And and that's where I first got to meet Shannon, and we became fast friends. And when this came along years later, she made a phone call to my manager, Jeff Goldberg. Jeff called me, said, Shannon's got something really interesting for you. And I made the decision in a minute because to better answer your question, that I thought it fascinating that to be working with all the people that you'd mentioned, but also to be working in this fascinating concept that Shannon and Dan and their team have of putting these four films together and releasing them simultaneously and in the world of martial arts. And this again is what I found very interesting, that for the most part action in films has supported the drama of the story. So
Yeah.
as the story rolls on, the action comes in to highlight the moments. But I kind of look at this as the drama is supporting the action.
Yes.
The martial arts film, and it has that fast moving pace that the only moments it slows down is when we drop in the story.
Yeah.
So I kind of again to find it fascinating from my perspective is to be the dramatic support of an action film.
Now, listen, Jeff, I would never ever bash a film that doesn't have a supporting plot because, yeah, at times, I like the wall to wall action that doesn't really have a story attached to it. But I've got to tell you, there's nothing better than when you get it all together and you get a good piece of cinema. And that's what the four of these films do represent is that, yeah, we can do the stunts. We can have the hand to hand combat. We can have the bullets flying. We can have all the martial arts you need. But the stories and these compelling characters, which is like when I started to look at the slate of films and I started to see the names, I was like, oh, well, you're not casting Jeff without a story. Like that's just not
Yeah,
how the world works, you know?
yeah,
And you very much beautifully outlined that there's a well-rounded story and plot and even themes within these films. And
yeah.
you once again knocked it out the park. Now, you did mention my guy, Robert Rodriguez here. And
Yeah.
we're not going to talk to Jeff and not mention Robert without mentioning at this point now, we're all on the edge of our seat waiting here. Just any bit
Wait.
of news or details. We need
Yeah.
something in the works. The stars need to align. And of course, I'm talking about Alita Battle Angel. Now, I know you've mentioned even now and in so many other interviews just how much you appreciate working with Robert and also that story. And then we're all still fingers crossed to hear news about a sequel. But the one thing I do want to say that I'm not sure if you get deep into the webs, but there's also been a pretty much of a rally of folks who wants even Matique to have his own story. Have you ever even explored that? What is your thoughts about that?
Well, I would say this. And again, whatever I say about Alita is going to blast out there, but I think I have Robert and James' blessing on this. We all want it to happen. We all want it to happen, and I would venture to say, and this is only a guess on my part, that if and when the sequel comes, I think McTeague and his Hellhounds will have a little more to say and do. And even if we don't, and I'm speaking on behalf of my hellhounds now, we'll be okay and satisfied with however we sit in the painting that they put together. But
Yeah.
but this all is again going back to this all started this whole with my relationship with Robert Rodriguez and Elizabeth Avion, who was producing Robert's films, and Shannon producing Quentin's films, and they all made this great, wonderful team, and they're all still friends today. And I'm part of the. I almost feel like it's this wonderful team that if it's professional team, football team, if you will, that every once in a while they call me to play a different position and I jump in and I have a blast. But they always give me a wonderful base to do my jazz. As you mentioned, I mean Shannon and Bruce. I have to mention Bruce, wonderful director, wonderful, and this is his first time out of the gate,
Yeah.
and did a fantastic job. And I loved working with him. Can't wait to work with he and Shannon and the team again. But they always give me a beautiful safety net to bounce off of. That I always feel safe and comfortable to do my jazz. It's great.
That's amazing to hear, and I'm always very pro workplace culture, even in entertainment, where you get to, no matter where you're at in terms of your career, that the folks come together to make the environment safe, that folks can really get out there, do their job, exercise their talent, and then put together just a bomb film. And this is what happens here. I definitely want to come back to that with you and Bruce, because again, if I casted Jeff, I'll say, here's a blank sheet, here's your character, what you want to do. What is sort of the collaboration process in terms of constructing your character? You have just years and years of experience, and even with Bruce coming out the gate, you still want to ensure that it properly reflects how a character should be. And you've played so many different characters. I mean, even in this year, you played 3 different characters, all in a different spectrum of characters here. But yeah, what was sort of the collaboration process with Bruce to constructing this?
I would say answer to that question, Niger. For me, and the nearly 50 years I've been in the business, and between film, theater, and television, the best collaborations, I think, are when you have not only a talented director, writer, and producer, but someone who has great vision but great security within themselves and work. So when they bring that to the table and talk about the vision they have, and then we bring our jazz to the table, the imaginations begin to collaborate. But I think what's wonderful is when a writer director, again, the producer, because Shannon and Dan develop these projects, they have a vision, and they very casually, not forcefully, talk about their vision.
Yeah.
It opens the door for one to come to the table and not have to have a strong opinion or vision, but it actually, when that window is open, to know you're in a safe, comfortable, ego-free environment, the magic happens, and then it starts to move together like music with one another, and creating music, and then there's a nice flow to it. And again, the vision can already be there, but when the environment is comfortably and protected for the magic, then that third stage comes in, that comes out of the collaboration, which is a vision that is the culmination of everyone involved. Did that make sense? I mean, it's just
1,000%.
And it's wonderful to have the energy and the creative energy of the imagination that you almost can't explain. It just has to happen in the moment, and everybody knows. It's like if you're creating music, what sounds good and feels good, and it's the same thing in a creative environment on a film. And they give it to me, just, it's like a full house, So not only do I enjoy doing it, but I actually look forward to doing it, and being and going to the set and not knowing what's going to happen that day, but it's going to be fun and cool, and I'll finish on this. That's what allows that. And I like to say there are no wrong ways, but yet there are 1,000 right ways, and the environment is easy breezy like that. There's no mistakes, because everything's a variation on a theme, and then they can edit it together and pick and choose whatever they want, and that allows the child within all of us to feel free and blast off.
I know I gotta put this interview out, but I'm definitely going to be clipping a lot for my own personal sake. These are like life messages here, and I expect that from you. You are a legend and an icon, and you've been doing this for so long, and it truly goes into my next question, is that you haven't slowed down at all. In fact, you might be working at a higher rate than you've ever worked in your career.
I would say this, Niger, I'm just getting started.
So let's peek a little bit into the future here. The IMDb credits definitely have some things in post-production. Is there anything you might be able to wink at, or anything that you're excited that's coming down the pipeline for you?
Yeah, there's quite a few things that actually aren't on IMDb yet. But one which I've already done an episode of and just finished yesterday or the day before up in Vancouver, on Fire Country. So I have a reoccurring role on that, playing Billy Burke's father and Max Thoreau's grandfather. So, and I'm that again, when you are in the environment, where you can bring your jazz and they respect it and it gels with theirs. Because years ago, many times you're adjusting to certain characters, but now it's at the point where a lot of the stuff that's being written, not everything, but some of the stuff that's being written with me in mind. So half of the work is already done. They're already bringing some of your jazz to that, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it's at now. So there's that, and there's, oh gosh, Guns of Redemption is a Western that's coming out. Broken Trail is another Western that's coming out. There's about 3 or 4 that I've just finished that are, and the gods have been with me, man. I have to say I've been blessed.
Man, we've been blessed as fans to have you. Just each and every project you touch, you bless. And again, just by talking about somebody being a good actor, it's the fact that like every character, I never see you, Jeff. So I didn't even know what to expect in this interview because I've seen you play so many different characters. I'm like, who is he going to be? But I do one thing for sure. This is going to be a badass time talking to you because that's what you do in any of those roles. It's a badass entrance.
Did you dig the glasses?
I absolutely did.
Yeah. Well, Bruce says, I think I'd like you to wear these glasses. I went, nah, I'm not sure about that, Bruce. And he goes, well, try them on. I tried them on. I went, oh yeah, come on, let's go. Yeah. So, working by it was just so easy breezy. It was wonderful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Final question here. And again, folks, you're going to be able to check out Lady Scorpion. There's so much action and these characters, you're going to be in for something special. Double feature with Kung Fu Games, August 23rd in theaters, which I would definitely suggest to get out there and do so there. But if you can't make it, September 3rd on digital and on demand. Now, again, going back to Robert one more time, because again, you all have known each other for over the years and beyond Alita, which we're looking for a sequel. Have you two talked about anything else? That's a very healthy collaboration that the world needs more of. Has there been any other discussions between you two?
Well, yes, but
I'll take it.
Yeah, but I will say that with Robert, it is a special relationship because it's been now, I think we've worked together 7 or 8 times, but sorry about that noise.
Oh, I can't hear it. You're good.
The lawnmower or whatever's over there. Wait a second, I'm the lawnmower man. I should be able to stop that thing. Is that he'll out of the blue sometimes. I mean, not sometimes, all the time. He'll text me and say, Jeff, I just wrote something very cool for you. Are you available? Da, 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 da. I mean, that's how it always goes. And so we've been texting back and forth. Yeah. So there's some things in the mix, but he's always got 100 things in the fire. And whichever one gets on the front burner first is the one he's going to do.
I love to hear it. You know what? It's about time you get in that director seat. How about that? How about that?
It's out there. It's out there. And having done this for so many years, Niger, I've seen that in order to do it, the best results come from when a director steps into that seat, that he has the right family of producers around him that are going to protect him. He's got the right cinematographer and the right first AD, the right team around him. Otherwise, I've watched it too many times where it's torture for somebody who and doesn't have a team around them, because you know yourself that anybody who's sitting in that position, they're going to get blamed for everything. They may get the glory at the end of the day, but if it doesn't turn out to be a gem, they get sunk.
That is right.
But I will do it. I promise you that the day is coming when I'm gonna. Oh, you got to be able to hear that now.
Nope. Technology doing its thing.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, Jeff, I truly appreciate the time today. I know without a doubt we'll definitely talk again because you're forever working and I'm forever watching films, and hopefully the stars align and we get to talk about one of those upcoming ones very soon. But in the meantime, once again, Lady Scorpions in theaters August 23rd, part of a double feature with Kung Fu Games, and then on demand and digital September 3rd. This has been absolutely a blast today, Jeff. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, sir. And I look forward to talking again, man.
Hey man, I'll be ready. Thank you so much
Thank
for it. Take care.